Shalom, good morning, my dear audience. Studying here, I am invited by Victor to answer his question given. The question consists of three parts, namely, question on part A deals with the accounting theory. Question on part B deals with the accounting video. Question on part C deals with accounting articles and accounting video, and listen to my answer and please subscribe and like my video. Well, my dear audience, we begin now. I start to answer the question 1. Do you always attend the lecture of English for accounting? And why must you attend the lecture? And what benefit have you got from attending the lecture of English for accounting? Well, my audience, my answer to the question on number 1 is here. Yes, I always attend lecture English accounting, Mr. Adi Mursalim, and I have been present 10 times on every course and lead on the card present my colleague. Why should I attend the lecture? Of course, because I think this is important and very useful because technology is also increasingly sophisticated as well as every terms to be used later. What else in terms of accounting? Well, that's all my answer to the question number 1. Number 2, and then I proceed to the question number 2. Do you do your structure assignment given? If yes, how many voice record have you done? Mention the title and explain them in short. And then, my dear audience, my answer to the question on number 2 is here. Yes, I think I always do structure notes. It is because we are always given the test by Mr. Adi Mursalim. The video is then we have been uploaded to our preferred YouTube channel. So before we had record what the Mr. Adi Mursalim was found in advanced and with additional learning files that have been sent via our email. From my note is following some of his title. Explain the accounting cycle, what is accounting, about asset, cash, liabilities, and income statement, introduction to basic, and why accounting so important. That's all my answer to the question number 2. And then I proceed to the question number 3. You have been asked to sing 2 songs in group and video record your songs. Mention the title of your songs and explain what the song tell you. Post the link of your song to WA group and post them too. Well, my dear audience, my answer to the question number 3 is here. Yes, I have sung 2 songs with my friend. The first compulsory song given by Mr. Adi Mursalim is a song that is titled I Wake Up in the Morning. This is song tell about what I do after I wake up on every morning. And the second song is free song, and the title of our song is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. The lyric of the song tell about the meaning of truth. love. Well, that's all my answer to the question on number 3. And then I proceed to the question number 4. Do you do video recording? English for accounting? If yes, mention the title of the articles and the videos you have video recorded and explain in short every article or video you have video recorded. How many video recording have you done? Why? Well, my audience, my answer to the question on number 4 is here. Yes, I have been a video recording in English for accounting. And this is some details of my video. Midterm task video, Accounting English task Chapter 7, What is accounting? Capital market, accounting financial, journal ledger, real balance, equity or finance, statement of change in equity, preparation of trial balance, financial statement, catfish become major commodities, European Central Bank stops printing 500 euro banknote, financial ratio, accounting cycle, accountability, management accounting, gold as an investment. Important. What do accountants do? Accounting concept, to main type of accounting, history of accounting. Well, that's all my answer to the question on number 4. I proceed to the question number 5. Mention and explain the materials you have studied from your lecture and what benefit have you got from the materials you have studied. Well, my audience, my answer to the question on number 5 is here. This one of the material described by Mr. Adi Mursalin on Friday 5 April 2019 about the property. Property is value or property of anything value. If it does not give the value, then it is not a property. If you asset, you and you are selling, it is the name equity. And withdrawals, when the owner takes cash or other assets from the business for personal. The benefit of certain gains, knowledge again. And since we are in accounting department, we have to further emphasize interest for course accounting English, and I want to say thank you to Mr. Adi Mursalin. Well, that's all my answer for the question on number 5. Well, now I answer the question on part B. The first question is, open this link and you must give the reason when you answer the question you meet in this link. Well, my answer to the number 1 is here. That is a great accounting tutorial for the basic of accounting for beginners. The axis Y to keep debit and credits and asset equals liabilities plus equity or accounting equation star right. You can use the information in the video on your first day of accounting class all the way to being a C. Pay A. Debit, credit, asset, draw, expense, liabilities, equity, revenue. This video has a very basic example and can be used in the most advanced situation. Well, that's all my answer for the question number 1. And then I proceed to the question number 2. Problem 5 business transaction following is a list of common transactions. A. Received cash for common stock. B. Purchases supplies for cash. C. Purchased equipment on account. D. Billed customer for service on account. E. Paid creditor on account. F. Received cash from customer billed on account. G. Paid rent for the month. H. Received payment for service from cash customer. I. Paid cash dividends. Each of the transaction will affect the accounting equation in one of the following ways. Number 1, an increases in an asset and increases in a liability. Number 2, an increase in asset and increase in owner equity. Number 3, an increase on asset and a decrease in another asset. Number 4, a decrease in an asset and decrease in a liability. Number 5, a decrease in an asset and decrease in owner equity. Required for each transaction, select the proper effect on the accounting equation. You must also give the reason why it is increases or decreases. Well, my answer to the number 2 is here. Transaction A, received cash for common stock is and increases a cash and an asset decrease and owner equity. Transaction B, purchased supplies for cash is an increase and decrease cash. Transaction C, purchased equipment on account is an increase asset and decrease cash. Transaction D, billed customer for service on account is an increase asset and increase owner equity. Transaction E, paid creditor on account is an increase and decrease of cash. Transaction F, received cash from customer billed on account is an increase of cash and decrease owner's equity. Transaction G, paid rent for the month is an increase asset and decrease cash. Transaction H, received payment for service from cash customer is an increase cash and decrease owner's equity. Transaction I, paid cash dividend is an increase asset and decrease cash. Well, that's all my answer to the question number 2. For each transaction, determine the accounts to be debit and credit. You must also give the reason why it is debit or it is credit. Number 3, the tax question is problem. Seek debits and credits. Following is a lead common accounting transaction. A. Issuance of common stock to a shareholder for cash was recorded as a debit to cash and a credit to common stock and a credit to additional paid in capital credit. So there are their account. B. Payment of rent for the current month was recorded as a debit to miscellaneous expense and a credit to rent expense. C. Purchase of supplies on account was recorded as a debit to supplies and a credit to accounts payable. D. Payment to a creditor on account was recorded as a debit to account payable and a credit to cash. In this process, we have to spend money or cash that is on the side of the asset B, crediting it. While for the debt account, we deduct it by debiting our debt account. F. Receipt of cash from customer previously billed on account was recorded as a debit to cash and a credit to account receivable. G. Payment of cash dividend to stockholders was recorded as a dividends payable is a liability account which is credited when director declared a cash dividend and is debited when the cash for a previously declared dividend is paid to stockholders. Hence, payment for a 3 years insurance policy. I. Incurred utilities expense was recorded as a debit to prepaid insurance and a credit to cash. G. Receipt of cash for service to be provided in the future was recorded as a debit to cash and a credit to prepaid income. That's all my answer. The question on part B and proceed to the question on part C. Deal with the article and video. Well, I answered the question on part C. Deal with the article and video accounting. The first question. That's all my answer for the question number 1. And then I proceed to the question number 2. About capital market article. The definition: capital market is a market where buyers and sellers engage in trade of financial security like bonds, stock, etc. Participants such as individuals and institutions. Description: capital markets help channelize surplus funds from savers to institutions which then invest them into productive use. Generally, these markets trade mostly in long-term securities. Capital market consists of primary market and secondary market. Primary markets deal with trade of new issues of stock and deal with the exchange of existing or previously issued security. Another important division in the capital markets is made on the basis of the nature of security trading. Stock market and a bond market. Well, that's all my answer to the question number 2. And then I proceed to the question number 3. Well, my answer for the question number 3 is there. The first video, the title is accounting basic and the speaker is Let's the channel. The contents in this video is: the session is a basic introduction to what is accounting. This session is for the beginners, students, working professionals, and anyone who wants to learn accounting. This tutorial will help them to learn about accounting, bookkeeping, what are the accounting concepts, etc. All these above things are explained through an example of two networks. You will also understand 1. Accounting basic and concept. 2. What is the difference between bookkeeping and accounting? 3. Why should you learn accounting? 4. Some of its use and application. Learn accounting is easiest way. The second video, the title is Real, Personal, Nominal Accounts and Golden Rules Account. The speaker is Neha Pariani. In this video, she explaining about the classification or type of accounts and their debit and credit rules, also known as golden rules of accounting. Thank you.